Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning into our exhibitor planning meeting today. Before we begin, I have just a few housekeeping items to go over. First, we will have a question and answer session after each of our speakers today. If you would like to ask a question, please do so using your GoToWebinar dashboard, which you probably see on the right-hand side of your screen. There should be a questions box there that's gray. If you click on that, you can type in your questions and we'll do our best to get to all of you as quickly as possible. Additionally, one of our presenters, Tama Merritt from GES, was unable to join us live today, so we have her presentation video recorded. And for her presentation, the video audio will only play through your computer speakers. So if you have decided to use the phone call audio option to listen, make sure that your computer speakers are turned on during the video or you won't be able to hear her. So if you are listening just through your computer speakers or your headphones, you should be fine and you won't have to make any changes. And we will also have a question and answer session for GES with GES reps Floyd and Jennifer after that presentation. And additionally, we have this PowerPoint presentation and the full slides available for download in the handout section of your GoToWebinar dashboard, as well as the floor plan and the important dates and deadlines for Pittcon 2019. So now I will turn the presentation over to Pittcon 2019 President Chuck Gardner.
Thank you, Kim. Well, good afternoon or good morning or good evening as the case may be. As Kim said, I'm Chuck Gardner. I'm the president of Pittcon 2019. And I want to first welcome everybody to this year's exhibitor planning meeting. We look forward to the start of the whole process up into Pittcon 2019 and look forward to seeing all of you in Philadelphia in March. So let me get to my first slide here. Wait for the, yeah. Excuse me, a little technical difficulty. There we go. So just a quick overview. Pittcon 2019 will take place from March 16th through the 21st, 2019. It's at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, Philadelphia, PA, and as many of you remember, it was the site of Pittcon 2013. We'll hear more from the Philadelphia Convention Center later in this afternoon's presentation. We're looking at, again, the three-day exposition, which will be March 19th through the 21st. We'll have short courses on the opening weekend, and then we'll have program sessions going on through Sunday through Thursday of that week. I'm sorry? Okay, I'm still working on our technical difficulty. Anyway, now that we figured out how to move the slides, Pittcon 2019 committee leadership, I'm the president. Our vice president is Jane Chan. The expo chair, who you'll hear more from a little bit right after me, is Jeff White. Our program chair is Heather Juswa, and registration chair is Karen Johnson. Just so you know that there's also 23 additional chairs from our volunteer organizing committee that take care of various operational aspects of Pittcon 2019. We also have a dedicated 12-person office staff who really do most of the work, so thanks to them. Okay, next slide. So why Philadelphia? Just briefly. There's 5,200 at least chemists employed in Pennsylvania. Another 11,000 work within a 100-mile radius of Philadelphia. All of this says that there's a great audience, a local audience for Pittcon 2019. Pennsylvania is the third largest state in the employment of chemists, and over 40 colleges and universities within a 50-mile radius of Philadelphia all that have chemistry programs. So and more than 130 schools in general within a 100-mile radius. All of this means that there's a great local demand for Pittcon 2019. Next slide. Part of my job is to tell you what the registration prices are here. So on this slide, you see what our registrations are going to be in the discount period, which is up through the 25th of February, and then after that, so full price. So again, we're keeping conferee registration relatively low. Student registration, again, the booth staff would be $120 over the original allotment. corporate guest category as well. We'll have an expo only registration again this year. Media is complimentary, and then the one-day registration will be will be $150, except for Thursday, it's a complimentary registration. So next slide. And the one thing I want to wrap up with is the final numbers from Pittcon 2018. I'm not going to go through all of these in detail. This will be part of the package that will be on our website, and it'll be available for download after the meeting. But again, these are the numbers for Pittcon 2018. At close to 7,000 attendees and close to about 4,200 exhibitors last year. So at this point, again, I welcome everybody, and thanks for taking time out of your day to listen to what we have to say about Pittcon 2019, and I'll turn it over to the Exposition Chairman, Jeff White.
Hi, my name is Jeff White. I'm the Exposition Chair for this year at Pittcon 2019 in Philadelphia. There are a lot of details that we're going to go through for the exposition, but there's a lot of people who make it work together. As mentioned, I'm a volunteer, the Exposition Chair. The chairs-elect next year are Jan Pfeiffer and Charlie Holofield, who will be working closely with me throughout the year. That said, we also have 2 full-time staff members who many of you will actually interface with. One is Tammy Yallum, and a lot of you already know her, and she will be communicating about various different issues and addressing questions throughout the year. And Diane Kenna, who will also be helping out, and some of you may have heard from Diane already, as she's been reaching out and trying to work with exhibitors to make sure that we are able to have a smooth 2019 Pittcon. The exposition days and times are, as Chuck had mentioned, they're going to be the 19th through 21st for the exposition. The move-in is going to begin on Thursday, March 14th, and needs to be done by March 18th. So we do not want people to come in at the last minute. So anybody who's able to actually get there early will help the whole process for sure. There will be a little bit of a complication with people in Hall A. They cannot come until Friday because we have a staggered move-in and we do not have availability to of that hall until Friday, but that should not be a problem, and we'll show that when I show the floor plan in a few moments. So the floor plan, as you can see, is laid out with the exact same hall that we had the last time we were there. Most of the features are towards the left side, and it's a little backwards from what you would think. Hall E is on the left side and Hall A is on the right side. So as we go through these things, I keep that in mind. You can see on the bottom that there are 3 entrances for the floor. The entrance on the bottom right is where you come from that Broad Street market, and many of you are familiar. The registration will be right below that hall entrance on the far right, which is Hall A. The entrance in the middle on the bottom is accessible easily from that Broad Street area, but also from those who come from the opposite side, the Market Street entrance. The far left entrance is the corner entrance. There's different from last time we were there. It is only in the corner that there will be an entrance because there will be things occurring higher up. There is in Hall A restricted area for new exhibitors, and that is shown on the slides right now. And we'll go through some of the limitations associated with Hall A in a little bit. You can see that the expo office should be centrally located such that all exhibitors are able to get the help that they need or find out questions. And right next to the expo office, you'll see is the service center for GES and the posters. The poster session, or the posters are located in the back in an effort to draw people to the back so that they walk through those booths on the main part of the floor. As mentioned, the service center is right next to the expo office, so you will be able to get most of the questions answered and addressed as you set up quite easily in either spot. The park is a little different design this year. We took the approach of trying to maximize surface area on the external portions of the park so that more booths would have access to the park. The park is located in Hall A through C on the far left side, which will draw a lot of those people from Hall E through C on the far left side, which will draw people over to that side. You can see that we have features identified in there. Some of this is subject to a little bit of change on where the features specifically are, but this is the current design for where the park will be, and we're going to move forward that way. The Nexus booths, which are the booths that we introduced last year, which draw attendance on different types of technical interests on the floor and other tangential types of presentations, are located to draw traffic around those. Those should be a very good feature. Those who were familiar with them last year saw that some of the programs ended up attracting a large group, which allowed for the booths to get more visibility. And of course, there's a restaurant in the back left portion. The restaurant is subject to a little bit change in size based upon those booths in that international region up there. The international region is something that we're trying a little bit new this year, and to work with some of our international partners on allowing them to have some access to get a place that's dedicated to them for booths that want to be in their zone. And so that's going to be a little bit different than you've seen in the past, but it'll also attract some people back in that direction. So one of the things I mentioned early on was there are restrictions in Hall A, which is on the right side for you. Hall A does have an 8'3" height restriction and a move-in date on Friday. Now that's the prior convention that'll be there. We don't have access ahead of time. So if you take extra time to put together your booth, or you have a rather large booth, then Hall A is not really going to be available when we go through the actual selection process. So there are a few display rules and changes that we need to remind of. One I mentioned a few times already was the height restriction. All inline booths, including cross aisles, have that 8'3" limitation, and then only the peninsula and islands can exceed that number. There is a overall restriction of a 20-foot maximum height, unless placed in a height restricted area, which obviously then it would be lower. Hanging banners are not permitted in Hall A, but there must be a maximum clearance of 24 feet from the floor, and these details will all be available in the future as well. One thing we do want to emphasize, we had a few booths that we had to work extra hard on complying with this last year. There are limitations on what is permissible with regarding to floor covering. There must be a carpet, and plastic and vinyl and thin fabrics are not considered carpet. So that they are considered hazardous materials for a variety of reasons. And so we will be enforcing that again this year, and we're working with those companies who previously had issues to make sure that they understand those rules. One other thing to emphasize is that all exhibitors with a peninsula or an island must submit the layout by Monday, January 21st, so that we can make sure that there are not any problems. So the pricing for Pittcon 2019, the booth costs for a 10-foot by 10-foot booth are $3,050. There is an expansion rate. The expansion rate is applicable if you had a certain size in 2018 and are moving to a larger size this year. For every booth that's bigger or larger than that previous footprint that you had, you'll be eligible for the $2,500 rate. Seminar rooms are available this year as well. And for the week, without a ceiling, a seminar room is $7,000, and with a ceiling, a seminar room is $8,500. Now, one thing that is a change that is really going to help us to grow the floor and create a nicer arrangement on the floor is we are looking at modifying the seniority process based upon square footage. We have two tiers: over 800 square foot and under 800 square foot. Everything is following the same seniority process that has been in place for 69 years. However, if you have over 800 square feet, we are going to look at your seniority prior to looking at the booths that are under 800 square feet. The size will include your booth space as well as any seminar rooms. So if you end up with 400 square feet in booth space plus 400 square feet in seminar room space, that would be 800 square feet. This will allow for us to arrange things and not to constrict ourselves through different logistical complications that have existed in the past. There are a lot of features that we're going to be having on the floor again. Most of them were present during Pittcon 2018. I mentioned the Nexus features, the Nexus theaters previously. They are 2 50 by 50 foot areas on the expo. There will be presentations throughout the day in each one. The presentations will not be to the level of detail of some of the things going on in the technical program. They're more general interest, but on the science side mostly. They are going to occur from 10 a.m. to 4:30, Tuesday through Thursday. And the idea is that they're going to attract attendance and attract traffic to those areas on the floor. Both theaters will be live at the same time, and they're far enough apart that they will be very different in the actual presentations that are occurring in each. We are going to do the demo zones again. The demo zones have been very popular, and those are the 15 to 20 minute live demo presentations in the park. Those are staggered, and they allow for some setup and teardown. The specifics of the demo zone are $200 per demo, and they're run consecutively between the two different demo zones with a buffer allowing for that setup and teardown. We are limiting the number of demos per company to 2. The same type of setup as was there last year will be on the floor this year with the 20 foot by 30 foot area with a plexiglass top. And then there are a variety of different things included as is needed for the presentation to be a success for your company. The Lab Gauntlet has been extremely popular. That has driven a lot of traffic to the park, where the different types of companies participating have had sort of a little bit of a challenge to have the attendees go and perform some sort of relatively simple task. The details on the Lab Gauntlet this year are that we're going to charge $200 to participate. There is going to be staffing there for Tuesday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's when we're going to drive the traffic there, and they'll have the handouts of the t-shirt for those who are successfully able to complete the challenge. The deadline for submission is December 21st, 2018. So it's important to get that in time so that we can determine who's able to participate in that. We've seen a lot of good success for companies. I know at least one company actually sold an instrument through participation in the past. And the companies who do participate do get the ability to scan badges with their own lead retrieval device during the process, which has been very beneficial to them. The seminar room rentals, there's some more detail here. The option 1 that I mentioned before is the $7,000 per unit for the week, and option 2 is with the ceiling for $8,500 per week. These can be designed as is necessary for meeting your needs during the week, but what is included in that $7,000 is identified below. I don't need to read through that, but you can see that there's tables and chairs, and it should work out quite well to have a space where you're able to make deals necessary to get the most out of Pittcon 2019. Meeting space rental is also available. You can see the numbers here. The 3-hour rental is at $425. For 10 people for a gem room, and for 20 people it is at $650. And for a seminar room rental on 3.5 hours, you can see that the pricing is $1,500, and the timing available associated with those is also identified there. So the important dates to make sure that you do not miss the process of getting a good booth and that you're able to maximize your investment in attending Pittcon. You can see that we are starting to take booth space signups online on June 4th. The earlier you get that in, the better for us, so that we can understand exactly what we need to have set up in the future on this. The actual assignments will begin on August 6th. Now remember, there was the change in the process where booths with 800 square feet or more, or companies with 800 square feet or more, so they can include, that is a combination of their booth size and their seminar rooms if they also get a seminar room. They will be placed first, and then the smaller booths will be placed beginning on August 13th. August 31st, the booth assignments will be emailed to the exhibitors, and November 2nd, the service manual will be available online, and the balance of the payment will be due on November 19th. And of course, to order your space, you need to go to the exhibitor dashboard. If you have any trouble on doing any of that, of course, please contact us and we'll make sure to help you. What you can do on the dashboard is you can enter your company description, product categories, you can update your insurance certificates, which are required. You can upload the booth layout for approval, which, as you saw, there are certain dates associated with that, especially for the peninsulas and islands. And then you can link to the exhibitor service manual to order the other tangential things that you might need for the actual show. One thing to mention on there that's on the bottom is you will also have the opportunity to order promotional opportunities. The promotional opportunities can help to allow you to get a little bit more exposure at Pittcon and further interface with the attendees. So with that, I open the floor up to any questions, and I'm glad to address any questions or comments.
I have one. Are there going to be more spots opened up in the lab gauntlet than last year?
Are there going to be more spots opened up in the lab gauntlet than last year? Last year, we had 2 different lab gauntlets, each with 7 spots, so 14 total. I do not foresee that there will be more available. And on that, with no further questions or comments, I will now turn it over to a video introduction going to Tama Merritt of GES.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Tama Merritt. I'm with GES. We are your general services contractor. So what does that mean to you? The different services included with GES services include shipping and material handling, booth furnishing rentals, graphics to enhance your booth presence, installation and dismantle labor, hanging sign labor, custom designed and custom built exhibit booths, and online ordering system, also known as Expresso. So I wanted to back up a little bit and explain what material handling is. Material handling is the handling of your freight, your shipment, your booth, once it arrives on site. So GES will unload your trucks. We will bring your materials to your exhibit booth. Once you're done unpacking your exhibit materials, GES will then take your empty containers into storage for the duration of the show. Once the show is over, we'll bring you those empty containers back so you can pack everything up. And then GES will bring those empty containers to your carrier once you're ready to be loaded at the end of the show. So there's a lot of pieces and parts to material handling, and that information will be found in Expresso and the prices and the details on that. So I mentioned Expresso, again, the online ordering system. Once that's available in the later part of the fall, you'll be able to see important dates and deadlines. I think that's also outlined on your booth agreement. The information to order your furniture. You can also print your shipping labels on Expresso. You'll also have the show site rules and regulations, but that's also outlined by the Pennsylvania Convention Center, and they'll talk a lot about that in just a little bit. And then the booth rules and regulations. In addition to Expresso, we do have a mobile app available, and so you have all of those services available on your cell phone. You can track your shipments, you can track your orders, all kinds of different things. So that will be available to you. You can download the mobile app. It's a nice tool for you once you're on site as well. The National Service Center is the GES call center. We do have representatives available to assist you if you do need assistance with Expresso, and they can help you with your online ordering system. We do have a callback feature, so if you're not able to stay on hold, we will call you back. I've outlined the hours of operation, and then we do also have a chat function. So during those hours of operation, if you didn't want to speak with somebody, you can chat with someone. So everybody wants to know how to save money. And so, as I mentioned on Expresso, we do outline discount deadlines. You have the opportunity to, if you order online, you do receive a discount. If you place your orders prior to a certain date, you receive a discount. In addition, if you ship your items on pallets instead of loose materials or in crates, it's cheaper. So our uncrated rate is a little bit more expensive than uncrated. Again, that information is outlined in Expresso. We also, as I mentioned earlier on the first page, shipping. We have GES Logistics. If you choose to use GES Logistics, that's our shipping portion of our business, and we'll pick up your materials at your office or your warehouse and bring them to show site. If you choose to use GES Logistics, you will get a 10% discount on your material handling. So there's a couple of ways that you can save some money. Once you're on site, you will have an exhibitor services executive available to you. Our executives partner with the Pittcon floor managers in making sure all of your trade show exhibition needs are met. So if you've placed your orders and maybe something's missing out of your booth, reach out to your executive. If you've decided that you need to order something, your executive is available to you. You don't have to go to the service desk. And at the end of the show, we'll hand out your invoices, and they are available to review those invoices and answer any questions you may have. We've had this program with the service executives for a number of years, and it's been very successful. So please feel free to work with them once you're on site. I had mentioned also on the first page that we do custom designed exhibit booths. So you can reach out to the website below, you can link right on it, and you can speak with a GES representative. And if you would like assistance designing a custom booth, they can work with you on that. As I mentioned, I'm Tama Merritt with GES. I also partner with two other folks within our organization, Floyd Genova. Some of you may have met him before. And we have a new team member, Jennifer Garner, and she'll be working with us for the second time in 2019. She was on the 2018 show. So anyway, there's a highlight of a couple of things that GES can do for you. Again, highlighting the material handling, Expresso, our service executives, how to save money. If you have any questions at any time, you're welcome to call the National Service Center or reach out to any of the representatives I have highlighted here below. So for today, that's all I have, and thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So it doesn't seem that there's any questions yet for GES. However, we did have a few questions that came in regarding the expo.
Will we be able to demo in our own booth, or do we have to use the demo area?
The first question was whether you'd be able to demo in your own booth or whether you need to demo in the demo area. You can, as long as you're complying with the rules in the manual, you can definitely demo in your own area. There are limitations, especially with regard to certain chemical processes and safety things that obviously you could not demo on the floor, but you are definitely able to use your booth for certain demonstrations. And then there was another question.
Why is vinyl flooring considered hazardous?
The determination with regard to what's hazardous from a flooring side is not something that we really have the information on why these things are categorized as they are. We can follow up on that for sure, but it has been identified as hazardous to us. So with that, I'd like to turn the next portion of the presentation over to the Pennsylvania Convention Center representatives.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Tom Beverage, and I'm the Client Utilities Manager at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, handling electrical, plumbing, and compressed air, or as I like to say, high voltage hospitality and premium H2O.
Chris, can you unmute yourself?
Seems as though, Chris, you're muted. Are you able to have your audio? There we go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Gruber, and I'm the Senior Show Services Manager at the center. And my team handles all of your internet and telecom needs for the show. Next slide, please.
There's a new customer satisfaction agreement in place, which has been in place for a little over 3 years now. It's a 10-year agreement that allows general service contractors and other service providers to partner with the labor to improve all areas of the show experience. In booths 600 square feet or less, you'll be able to do a lot more than you've ever been able to do here at the Pennsylvania Convention Center and ease the build of your booth. New exhibitor rights have been established in the agreement that allow for unprecedented options for exhibitors not matched in other facilities. Next slide, please. As you can see, we have 4 signatory labor unions, which is different than when you guys were here before. The electricians, the laborers, the riggers that handle all heavy equipment, and the stagehands would handle most of the booth builds in the exhibit hall. We have more streamlined and more efficient jurisdictions and a skilled, capable, and well-trained workforce to reduce the hourly rates. Next slide, please. You'll see this in the exhibitor packet. This is a flyer that the Convention Center and the Convention and Visitors Bureau shares with all shows that come in the building that explain the rules for booths under 600 square feet and what exhibitors are allowed to do now that they couldn't do before, and making it an easier install and dismantle for all the, not the IDs, for all the exhibitors. Next slide, please. Obviously, if you have an EAC, your EAC, local people know the rules of the building. It's good to have them around. Personally owned vehicles, you can bring in a personally owned vehicle and unload it yourself. There are some rules as to computer use, but all personal computers that you own can be brought in and set up by you if it's your own personal computer. Chris, would you like to add something on the internet there?
Internet is delivered via hardwired internet services. You are allowed to bring your own mobile hotspots into the building, as well as your own routers to connect to those services. Currently, we do not offer exhibitor wireless for daily purchase. We are looking into those options.
Exhibitor information can be accessed anytime on our website, www.paconvention.com/meetingprofessionals/meeting planner. Next slide, please. As I said in the previous slide, exhibitors may contract an exhibitor appointed contractor or I&D to supervise the installation and dismantling of their booth. We do ask that if you hire an EAC, that the employees of the exhibitor appointed contractor do the work in the booth. And once again, the link is there to contract the link for the exhibitor rights. Exhibitors may unload their personally owned non-commercial vehicle from the Convention Center loading dock area. Exhibitors may use their own equipment, including but not limited to carts, dollies, luggage carriers, and 2- or 4-wheel hand carts. We ask that you do not use motorized or hydraulic devices. for safety reasons. Show labor may provide cart service. I don't know for sure if Pittcon is offering that, but I'm sure that GES will. Exhibitors have 20 minutes to unload. Next slide, please. Exhibitors may use a ladder up to 60 feet in a booth 600 square foot or less. They can also use battery operated tools. Powder actuated tools such as Hilti guns and gas filled nailers are prohibited. All booths, vehicle batteries shall be disconnected and reconnected by the electricians and also checked by the security folks in the building. That's a safety reason, folks, obviously, so that they can't be operated during the show. Lasers are not permitted on the show floor. And we ask that we do not block any fire equipment, columns, or electrical closets in the exhibit hall. Yes, if you need to have a fill or a drain for your booth, we ask that you contact our department about plumbing services and not use the bathrooms or any of the sinks in the bathrooms for dumping. Once again, when discussing computers, exhibitors may set up and connect computers and all computer components. This is for computers and computer components that are owned by the exhibitors, not by a rental company. Rental companies will require setup by the stagehands in the exhibit hall. Next slide, please. Electrical service is not included with the booth fee, and ordering early saves in costs and improves efficiencies. This way, your booth won't have any wait time from ordering on site. Once again, we also urge you to order in advance so that you'll get the advance rate deadline for electrical services as well. That's a key way to save money when exhibiting in the Pennsylvania Convention Center. We also would ask for a rendering or a scaled floor plan that notes the drops and the power drops on it so that we can run that power before you get here and before your flooring goes down. This too will save you costs and save you time when building your booth here in the Pennsylvania Convention Center. All booths less than 600 square feet where an exhibitor appointed contractor is utilized, we ask that you put an order in for an electrician to install the lighting fixtures, any lit signage or other work that's deemed electrical. Exhibitors are permitted to run cords along the drape line and along the back of the booth, but they are not permitted to run cords under the carpet or over the carpet where there would be tripping hazards. All exhibitor extension cords within the booth must be grounded 3-wire 12-gauge UL listed cords. No household ungrounded 2-wire extension cords, please. Once again, pre-ordering saves everyone time and it will definitely save you money. So we ask that a floor plan like you see on the screen now be sent to us with your electrical jobs, including measurements. This will ensure that your booth is laid out correctly when you come in and that your power is down in all the right spots and you can begin your build as soon as you get here. All this information is available on our website and also on our forms. You'll notice boxes at the bottom of our forms and also on our website that explain some of the other things that you may need electricians for, like hardwiring in your booth, or if you would like to supervise the installation of your floor power. That can be done, but we do recommend having us do it under our own supervision by sending us a floor plan. But we can do it either way. Check the boxes at the bottom of the form, and that'll allow us to know how you want to proceed. Remember, on-site orders are billed at a site rate, which is slightly higher than the advance rate. Saving money is key, and if it's key for you as it is for me, you'll want to order in advance. Our online exhibitor ordering link is at the bottom of this slide. It's also available on our webpage, and I'm sure on Pittcon's website. Another service that we offer here in the Utilities Department is Exhibitor rigging. Rental of truss and motors is exclusive to the Pennsylvania Convention Center, but that will save you on shipping and freight forwarding, since we'll have it here in-house and we'll have it mounted when you come in. That allows you to get your booth built faster, because that stuff will be hanging and suspended. When you come in, you'll be able to go right to work building your signage, lighting, and/or ceilings for booths that have ceilings. Installation of all truss and motors is performed by the SMG Electrical Department. Labor is not included in the rental price of the equipment, but we can do a custom estimate for you, give you an idea of your costs in advance. Once again, we urge you to reach out to our department, utilities@paconvention.com, and we'll get you a custom estimate for your booth. Installation, all electrical suspended elements that require electric and lights, rotating motors, etc., must be installed by the SMG electrician. So just a brief explanation of that is that if you have a hanging banner sign that's being hung, just a banner, that would be your decorator, GES. If the sign has a motor, spinning motor, or a lit sign with lights on it, that sign would be handled by SMG and would have to go through our utilities department. Light for the truss can be supplied by an exhibitor or a third-party vendor. Installation will be handled by SMG electricians. You can schedule that labor at the same link as all other electrical orders. Operating of motor controls is performed by the electricians as well. We will have the ability to help you do some lighting design. If you have a small booth with graphics that need to be lit, we can help you in-house with that, and we can also find lights for you if you're having trouble finding a lighting vendor. Please reach out to us and allow us to custom build something for you that might be able to save you money. It's an option that we have. Please take advantage of it. Next slide, please. These are just some examples of floor plans and lighting plots. These are details that would help us to do our job more efficiently. So if you can get them to us, or if the sooner that you want to get an estimate, something like this will help us to give you an idea of what any cost would be for your booth. Also, this is just a small example. The top left-hand corner of this slide is a booth that we actually designed ourselves in-house here a few years ago for Smith Klein Beckham, I believe. And it was a way for us to save them some money, because we have in-house designers that charge an hourly rate instead of a large design fee. So something like that can be worked out. Please feel free to reach out to us. The in-house lighting designers are here. The consultation is free. The phone call is free. So it can't hurt to check with us to see if we can save you some money by helping you with some of your lighting design. Here's a sample plot for truss. And this is a lighting plot showing Parcan lights. We also offer Parcan lights, which are excellent for lighting signage. We can do them as just plain light, or we can do colors and or design lighting for you in a custom manner. Chris?
Thanks, Tom. As I stated earlier, internet is delivered over hardwired services. We do have complimentary Wi-Fi in our concourse spaces, but not within the exhibit hall unless it is ordered by the show. Exhibitors can bring their own wireless router to attach to the hardwired internet drop. Additional data cabling is from the main drop is done by the SMG electricians. It is recommended that you supply the show services department with a rendering and scaled floor plan, noting internet drop locations in your booth and or meeting room. As Tom stated before, our online ordering link is below. Next slide, please. On this floor plan, there is a few drops indicating the main internet location. This will be helpful for our technicians to install the drop in a timely fashion prior to arrival and prior to booth carpeting going down. Product and literature. All booths Exhibitors may open boxes, stock shelves, distribute and set up, place, plug in, hang from hooks, product and literature within the booth, excluding the movement of product and literature in bulk. Exhibitors may perform work on their own display equipment after the initial setup and or maintenance. Exhibitors may perform work with their own equipment or machinery. However, the primary power connection shall be provided by the PCC and the electricians. Next slide, please. Audiovisual can either be provided by the contracted AV company or it can be ordered through the show services department. Booths 600 square feet or less, exhibitors may install and remove AV equipment within their booth, excluding rental equipment. If an exhibitor needs to rent audiovisual equipment or computers and displays for their booth, please use the appointed contractor, or as I stated, can order through the show services department as well. The rental price will be comparable to an outside company. However, the appointed AV vendor, as the contracted show provider of AV, will have the technical personnel on property to troubleshoot any equipment related issues and any exhibitor may have in their booth, and the labor costs associated with setting and striking your booth equipment will be significantly lower. Next slide, please. Aramark is the exclusive food and beverage provider here at the PCC. All food and beverage arrangements should be made directly with the catering office. This includes any food and beverage related prizes or giveaway. If approval is granted to bring food or beverage that is not supplied by Aramark, a corkage fee will apply. Aramark requires that a PCC bartender dispense all alcoholic beverages. Individually wrapped chocolates, candies, or mints are acceptable in small bowls. However, fees are applicable for larger candy displays. Next slide, please. Here's just a few Q&As for typical questions that we get here at the center. As an exhibitor, do I have the right to install flooring and displays in my booth? Exhibitors can set up and or tear down a booth as long as the booth is 600 square feet or less and is a full-time employee of that company. I'm an exhibitor coming in for an event next month, and I was wondering if I could set up my personally owned 40-inch monitor with DVD player. Exhibitors can install monitors and AV equipment that is not rented as long as you are a full-time employee of the booth, and the booth does not exceed 600 square feet. With the new rules in the building, am I able to use a step ladder and a screw gun in my booth? In booths less than 600 square feet, you are permitted to use the ladder up to 6 foot, and power tools you are permitted to use as well, as long as they are battery operated or electrical. Next slide, please.
My booth will have stem lighting. Can I install them myself? Exhibitors have the right to install their own lighting as long as the booth is 600 square feet or less and they have not hired an exhibitor appointed contractor. Lights must be installed by a full-time employee of the booth, and they cannot be provided by a rental company or third party. Rental lighting must be installed by SMG electricians. All lighting must be UL NEC compliant. As an exhibitor, can I also work in my own booth if I hire stagehands to install my booth? Yes, as long as they're a full-time employee of the company for more than 6 months and have an exhibitor badge. As an exhibitor, can I unload my own vehicle? Yes, as long as it does not have commercial tags or lettering on the vehicle. Here's the links again for Chris and I and for our departments. Also on there, you'll see contractor services, which can answer any questions you have about labor, and event services, which are always there to help all the departments in the building to do a better job. Chris, would you like to add anything before we go to the Q&A?
Nope, that's all. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for checking in today. We'll go back now to the moderator and see if they have any questions for us.
Sure. Tom, are parkan lights, who would hang parkan lights?
That would be me.
Okay. And I also have a note that we will have Wi-Fi on the show floor through Pittcon.
Parkan lights are rented at a set cost. The good thing about the parkan lights is when you rent a parkan light, You don't have to worry about any extra additional charges. The cost includes everything: the lift charge, the labor, the install, and the focus. And every light comes with 15 minutes of custom focus time.
This is Jeff. I wanted to just get a little bit of clarification on one of the things that you mentioned. You talked about the prohibition on lasers on the floor. Can you expand upon the convention center's policy with regard to instrumentation that has potentially a laser inside of it?
I don't think that it's more for the lasers during construction that would beam around. It's more for the construction phase. Just there's a lot of folks working in the hall during building, and we just don't want someone on a high reach to be blinded by a laser from someone else's booth. As far as the equipment that the folks will be bringing in for the scientific equipment, there's no ban on that. It's during the show. And I'm sure that those folks know how to use that laser way better than our construction gang does. So I don't see a problem with that. But during construction, you can imagine if someone in booth 4 has a laser, that the person in booth 5 could be distracted and get hurt. So that's why we try to keep it to a it's been used, but we always ask that they request, so we prohibit it. And then if someone really needs it, they'll come to us. We try to set them up with an off-hour construction build.
Thank you. Yeah, and I would encourage any exhibitors who have specific questions or specific concerns, for instance, like that, to either reach out to Pittcon or directly to those at the convention center, because I'm sure that there are other exceptions and variations associated with plenty of the different rules.
Yeah, we won't ask them to wear hard hats on show days, but we would ask them if they came into the hall during construction. So that's just one of those things for the build.
Thank you. Were there any other questions that came in?
No more questions.
No more questions there? Thank you for your description of the different rules associated with operating in the convention center. We very much appreciate it.
No problem. We're always here. If anybody has any questions, they can reach out to us at the Pennsylvania Convention Center email addresses, and we'll get back to them right away, Chris and I.
And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Chuck Gardner.
Okay, well, thanks. This is kind of the wrap-up part of the afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody out there in internet land for again taking time out of your busy days to hear what we have to say. And thank you for your interest in Pittcon 2019. And I hope to meet each of you personally in March in Philadelphia. Second, I'd like to thank the team from the Philadelphia Convention Center. Thanks for your time. Thanks for presenting a lot of information. And thanks for just being there to help our exhibitors. So appreciate that. Although Tama can't hear me, I want to thank her for taking time to put together her presentation. And again, the team from GES has been a valuable partner of the Pittsburgh Conference for many years. And we look forward again to another year of working with them and putting together a successful conference and exhibition. Third, I want to thank the office staff here at Pittcon for putting together the webinar, to the marketing and exposition teams here. Thank you for all of your efforts and hard work putting this all together and making this all run very smoothly. I'd like to thank Jeff for giving up his time and getting all dressed up here this afternoon for that. That was very nice of him. Anyway, again, Pittcon 2019, we're really excited about Philadelphia. We really, really are. We feel that it's, we just began to tap the potential of the Philadelphia area and the audience in 2013. 2019 is what we're really going to focus to get local people to the show. We want to make this the most, successful as successful as we can. We've got lots of plans here and that we're executing on to engage the local scientific population. May was our first event through Philly Tech Week. We sponsored a presentation on laboratory design. We're interacting with the local American Chemical Society sections to provide speakers and to tell them a little bit more about Pittcon at their local meetings. The same with the Chromatography Forum of Delaware Valley. So we're doing lots of things that we can to get people to come to Pittcon 2019, but we want you there too. So thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you in Philadelphia. Bye-bye.